Boom, boom. La, 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 la. Hi, Willie. Hello. Just inviting some other people to my live. Let me invite Miss L. Let me see who else can I invite. Probably these appear to be all of my mutuals. I think I will invite, because why not? Hey Willie, I'm good. Hi. I'm about to discuss the embodiment of principle, and just talk about how submission is inspired. It's not demanded. So just trying to invite people here. Hi, Pure Vanilla. Hello, hello. Just currently inviting some people in here right now, because why not? Let's see. Who else is here? Dunya. I think Dunya left. Love you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Willie. Thank you. Trying to see. Let's see who else is up right now. I'm sure plenty of people. It's like 7:07 over here. It's Central Time over here. Are you in Central Time? Let me invite. I think, because why not? I think I don't know. Just letting a few more people know, and then I'll get this thing started, and we can start getting into, I'm on Eastern. Oh, nice, nice, nice. So what is it, 8 p.m. over there? That's cool. Just invite. Hello, hello. Hi. Hi. Oh, I think I know officially Fly DP. What's up? Hey. TikTok live. Yeah, let me tell them. Nice. That's cool. I won't ask you where you are because I feel like that's personal. So my light, it just feels absolutely horrible. Hi, Adeline. Hello. Okay, cool. I think, what's that? Oh, happy to see you as well. Thank you. My God, I think what I am I'm not disturbed. I'm just, there we go. My God, there's no lights. I was like, it's quite dark, and that's okay. But okay, so I wanted to discuss something with you guys, and then I'm gonna like share it with more people. But I wanted to discuss the embodiment of principle. One of the things that I have heard, I think, on social media, not just heard, but if you all have kind of noticed, I think this trend is dying, but women, kind of using their feminine wiles and whatnot to gain some type of influence and control over men. And I discussed this in a book club, but when it comes to trying to get submission, you do not demand submission, and you cannot manipulate someone into submitting to you, right? Submission is inspired, and submission is inspired by way of your embodiment of principle, right? Principles such as the law of causation, right? Principle of cause and effect, which just basically means whatever you put out there will return to you, right? Whether it's consciously or unconsciously. And so people who are intentional about what they do and they are aware of this law, right? Let me see who else is here. Lilibeth, hi. Oh, is that one of my... No, it's not. Okay, I'm just gonna... Okay. I'm just gonna finish this. Anyways, so your embodiment of principle is what inspires people to submit to you. It is not you demanding submission, right? So people who are extremely intentional about what they do, like they're essentially, when you're intentional and consistent, right, in whatever you do and you move with integrity, the world or your external responds back to you in kind, right? The external mirrors the internal, right? And so I think a lot of people who are, hi Habib, I think a lot of people, that's funny, the name is funny, but anyways, I think a lot of people who but a lot of people who are desperately trying to get control, right? It's not hard to control people because most people are not mindful of what they consume, right? Especially in this digital age, this social media age, people are extremely mindless when they're scrolling and whatnot. They consume anything. But one thing that I have noticed and I do know is that people who embody principle inspire submission, right? It doesn't have to be demanded. You don't have to force it, right? Anytime you have to force it, not only is it not real, but it's fragile, right? Which means you're not likely to keep that person. Thank you. Thank you, Coach Jay. You're not likely to keep, I want to say, people in submission to you, right? Like, if submission is inspired, then it's not painful, right? One thing about it, when you are submitting to someone, you recognize their authority, you recognize competence, and you recognize principle. And so it doesn't feel unaligned when you are submitting to a person. It shouldn't, right? If it does, then they're demanding it and therefore forcing it, right? And so one thing that people need to learn and understand is that, you do not have permission to control all that is outside of you when you are not embodying principle. When you embody principle, you are in control of self, and therefore you become more in control of the external. You're granted permission to control the external, right? The external is a mirror to the internal, right? And so people who are unintentional, and they are not mindful of these laws and principles that govern the universe, that govern nature itself. When you do things mindlessly and then you get back what you put out, right? You're unaware that you are creating all of what you are experiencing, right? And those people cannot demand submission. Those people are liable to be controlled, right? And so I think another thing that was coming to mind, actually, let's see, making sure I covered it. I think I did, which is that the majority of people are sheep. Something that I noticed on social media is people who are desperate to feel safe, and not outside of their body, right? Because there is, I want to say, because there is so much kind of fear mongering on social media, people will consume whatever they need to consume to feel safe, even if what they are consuming is a lie, in an effort to stay integrated in their body and not come outside of their body. That's kind of what anxiety feels like. And so it's not difficult to control the masses of people when the masses of people are in a state of fear, right? They don't really do a lot of research because TikTok is becoming the new TV, right? This is the new television that people are tuning into. Not only that, but it's like people are getting the majority of information off of TikTok. And because TikTok is no longer completely controlled by the people on it, because of that last ban and whatnot, we saw what happened. People who are consuming all of that shit, it's not shit, but some of it is going straight to the subconscious, right? The subconscious is a creative machine. And so if you are mindlessly consuming in an effort to feel safe, you will end up consuming something, a pattern, a program, a belief, right? And then operating based off of that belief, especially if that belief is aligned with whatever emotion that you are experiencing. So people are unconsciously creating worlds of chaos, right? Based off of, hi Veronica, based off of what they are consuming. But, oh, I'm not sure if you were here earlier, Veronica. I was just discussing the embodiment of principle. I was basically talking about how most people, and I discussed this in the book club, a lot of women want to have some type of control over men, not understanding that the control that you seek, the submission that you seek, is inspired, right? That means you do not demand it, right? And so what that means is that your embodiment of principle is what inspires submission, right? From those outside of you, from nature itself. You have to understand that nature is governed by principle. And so if you are not aligned with that which governs nature, nothing will bow to you, nothing will submit to you, right? Submission is about alignment. Submission is also about trust. It's crazy. I guess I had to stay on here long enough to actually get to that point, right? But submission is about alignment and it's about trust. Submission is not about forcing anything or anyone to do anything. I think people have that completely fucked. Not fucked. They just have it, they have it messed up. They're confused, right? And so one of the things that I see in regards to submission is people have to understand that your vessel is not worthy of submission, right? Your vessel is as sacred as what it embodies, right? It is as sacred as what it houses. Thank you, Veronica, for the roses. Thank you. But it is as sacred as what you house, right? And so, thank you. And so what that means is that you being a woman, right? Despite you being a reflection of Mother Nature itself, right? On the physical plane, a not just a reflection, but a projection on the physical plane of the divine feminine, right? We are all kind of versions of the divine feminine projected on the physical plane, right? And so what that means is, and you would think like, oh, well, that means that we're worthy to be worshipped. It doesn't. Because a lot of women are not embodying principle. Many of us, many of you are anti-principle, right? And therefore anti-nature. You do not get to govern anything outside of yourself, right? If anything, it would make sense for nature itself to be in rebellion to you, right? Your sons, your children, right? Anything that you are trying to gain control over, because when you do not embody the very thing that governs nature itself, you are, I love this question, how do you embody principle? One way is by being extremely intentional in what you are doing, right? Understanding that, for example, the law of causation, right? What this means is that what I put out, I will surely get back, right? Whether it's consciously or unconsciously. And so it would behoove people, humans, to be as intentional about what comes out of your mouth and what actions you carry out, so that what your external reflects back to you is desirable and aligned with what you are intending, the outcome that you are intending, right? This 3D realm, from what I can see, is a mirror to the internal, right? And so that's one way of doing it. It's just being extremely intentional. Also moving in integrity, right? This way, whatever is reflected back to you it does not reflect someone or something who hides, right? Who throws a rock and hides the stone and whatnot. When you understand and accept that everything that you see is a reflection of what's already going on in the internal, that's when you start to move differently. You start to move based off of the principle of the law of causation, or what I believe it was, not what's up must come down. It's another law. What is it called? It's the, I totally wrote it down. Hold on. It's the, I don't know what it's called. Like, what's above, so is below. I think that was it. Yeah. And so to me, that is a mirror effect. Law of causation, is it the law of cause and effect? Right, it's the same thing, right? Principle of cause and effect is also called the law of causation. Yes. Yep. What you put out, you will surely get back, right? Whether it's consciously or unconsciously, yes. And so it makes sense to be as conscious and as intentional and as purposeful as possible, right? So that you're not getting back something that doesn't make sense, that you don't understand, that you cannot own up to, right? And so people who are intentional are in alignment. They are bending their reality at will because they simply walk in intention. They walk in purpose is what it is. Nothing that they do is without purpose, right? Most of those people are witches in practice. But I mean, witches and warlocks or whatever, but it's the same. Oh, yeah, I did get anyways, it's the same thing. But that was something that I learned quite recently. I shared this story on in the book club, and it was about my aunt who was the matriarch of the family, right? And one of the things that I learned from watching her, right? Because the thing is, your son, not I'm not assuming that you have a son, but from what I have seen, right, the mother and the son relationship, um, sons will buck. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Um, Sons will buck against their mother. I have seen it. I've seen exactly, right? I've seen it. And I gotta say, it is like, I'd be like, oh my God. Sons will absolutely buck against her mom. They will challenge their mom, all of that. Now, one of the things that I recognized in my, one of them have been, right, exactly. Yep. I can only imagine. I have little brothers, and they can be testy. They were extremely testy when they were younger. My God, they were oof. Anyways, especially the baby. Absolutely ridiculous. But anyways, with that in mind, I think the point that I'm trying to get to is, um, right. Right. Okay, so my aunt who passed, I want to say last year, um, was the rock of the family, the matriarch of the family, and her sons are all grown, right? They're super tall, they're super, they've got muscle, and they're all bigger than her, right? Mind you. Um, I think she has like three sons, but you would think like that she has to like do a lot, right? To get them in control or whatever. She doesn't. One of the things that I noticed about her is that her son, she did not have to demand submission from them, right? One of the reasons is because she is an elder, but men don't, you being an elder doesn't, inspire respect, right? Perhaps it inspires chivalry, but not respect. But what it was is they never bucked against her, right? And the reason being is because she embodied principle. She embodied principles. And so, if anything, what I saw is that they were inspired to submit to her, to be accommodating to her, right? And now women may, they may argue with me and be like, oh, that's what sons are supposed to. Please, I have seen the opposite. I have seen mothers afraid of their sons, right? That mom can't tell her son shit, right? And I have seen the opposite. And what I noticed between the two, right? Men are studying their mother, not just, oh, that's my mom. They're studying you as a woman as well. And if you are embodying principles, walking in integrity, yes, right? Walking in integrity, right? Being intentional, right? They're watching that. And they're not submitting to you simply because of the title of you being a mother, right? Titles are just as finite and useless as the vessel itself, right? It is what the vessel houses that makes it more than what it is, right? It is what I house that makes me magnetic, right? It's not my physical vessel. It's not my it's none of that. It's what comes out, right? Almost like, I mean, it's the same with the scripture when it's like, it's what I want to say comes out. It's what is said. I'm paraphrasing, but it's what is said that defileth the person, right? Not so much as what's consumed, but it's what comes out. But whatever comes out is dependent on what you consume. That's another thing. But sons are watching their mother, not just the title of a mom, but they're watching you as a woman, because this is now how they will perceive all other women, right? And what I notice is that men who do not respect women, right, it started at home. It started with how they perceive their mother, right? It started with them watching her make a promise and go back on her word. It started with them watching her lie compulsively, right? It started with that, and then that became a perception of the entire collective, right? And so women, when we talk about something that I think we spoke about in the book club was about like ancient times, and how unruly women were during that time, but also like just how they were able to force submission. And I must say, what was will never be. Again, and the reason why is because when you think about what is happening with the feminine taking its rightful place in the world today, it's not taking its rightful place by the mimicry of the masculine or the subjugation of the masculine. It's taking its place by building its own ecosystems, currencies, territories, becoming independent, not independent of everyone and everything, right? It doesn't, not only does it not need the masculine, but it doesn't need the masculine to submit or do anything. Absolutely not. If anything, just from what I have seen in the dynamic between mothers and sons, men are inspired to submit. Nature is inspired to submit to you when you are in alignment with universal law and principle. Otherwise, rebellion, right? Otherwise, that's that's what you get. You inspire rebellion. You do not inspire respect, right? Respect is earned, and submission is inspired. It's not demanded, nor is it forced. It comes as a result of being recognized as an authority and being recognized as competent. And so submission never feels forced, right? I am not above submission. If you are in your, not only if you are in your authority, if you're walking with integrity, if you embody principles, right? I am inspired to submit to that person, be it man or woman, it doesn't matter, because submission is not limited to women and it's not limited to men. It is a universal thing. But that is something that I noticed. Those boys, right, as many boys as she had, were inspired to submit, right? Extremely protective of their mother, but they weren't just protective of their mother because that's my mom. No, absolutely not. They were inspired to protect her because of what you house is also what dictates what your children experience from you, right? My aunt, to me, was extremely aligned with nature itself. And so that is what they were protecting. They were protecting what she embodies, not the title of mother, right? The minute you disrespect your title, which is, mother, teacher, whatever it is, it doesn't matter, consultant, these are all leadership positions. The minute you disrespect your position or your title, is the crown becomes a rope, right? That can hang you. When you do not respect the rules of these titles, they can be used against you. They can be used as judgment, right? And so instead of you being able to hold the crown ends up crushing you, because you don't respect what all comes with holding it, the responsibility that comes with it, right? Yes, I realize that moment now that you say exactly, right? And so I think, and it's not that I think, women who, they tune into feminine coaches and whatnot to gain the favor of men. And, I respect it. But if it is submission or control, right, or influence that you're trying to get, the physical will only take you so far. The physical holds nothing, right? It holds no weight if you're not embodying anything that is greater than yourself, and that being principle being truth that governs this universe, this world, right? Universal laws and whatnot. If you are not embodying these things, you do not deserve submission, and you do not have the ability or permission. Could that be ego sometimes? What is, which part? Which parts? Let me see. The control part. It's, oh yeah. No, you're right. Absolutely. It is ego. Yeah, the need to control is definitely ego. Gosh, Veronica, you just made me think of a download that I got last night, and I wasn't going to share it until later, but I think I might. I think, why not? I have energy. When you think about control, right? I got this download. Oh wow, yeah, absolutely. That's beautiful. That So when you think about control and the ego wanting to control outcomes, right? One of the things that is coming to mind is the alchemy of presence, the power of presence. When you are trying to control things, control the outcome, nothing flows to you, right? You can't receive anything, because you're trying to control how it comes. Almost like people who are trying to, when you're worried about, oh, I have bills, I have this, I have that, right? And so you're again focused on the outcome, and you're not at all focused on the process. What happens when it comes to your energy, right? If you've ever seen someone who was so in the process that they get lost in the process of something, it looks like they are transforming in real time. You can see the magic, right? When you think about people who are obsessed and consumed by whatever art that they're in, right? I think the movie what was it, Drum Roll or something. It was about this dude who was very dedicated to his craft of what do you call it? What do you call it? Drumline. Yeah, was it? Okay, yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was drumline. Yeah, it was. Okay, so he was like super, super committed and super consumed by the process of his craft and whatnot. And so you saw just how lost he got in the process, right? And that was where we saw the magic. He was, going from student to master very quickly, but this is only because he was consumed by the process, right? If he were to focus on the outcome, we would have saw something different. If anything, we probably would have saw him go from being completely immersed to that energy transforming into anxiety, right? Because your energy goes from something expansive to now you putting bounds on that energy by way of focusing on the outcome, the deadline, bills, right? All of these things. And so, exactly. And so the energy goes from being expansive to being focused and acute. Now, this is actually, it can be useful. And it is only useful when you need to prioritize a thing. And so that energy, which was once expansive, needs to be focused on one thing, right? And so what this means, that when you think about funneling energy, and the way in which you funnel energy to like one thing or one point of focus is by what you are paying attention to. Attention funnels energy, right? And so when you focused on the outcome, your energy goes from expansive, almost projecting off the body, to acute, or almost like you've put bounds on this very expansive energy to something more focused. And if you're doing this in front of people, right, I'm focused on, I got to get this done, I got to get these bills, I got to applications, but the energy which was once expansive, which people can experience, collapses into something like this. So it's going from something like that to like something like this. This is only useful when you are prioritizing something. Stagnant, exactly, yes, it becomes stagnant. And it's no longer magnetic, right? It turns into something else because you're trying to control the outcome, prioritize an outcome, right? Rather than getting so lost in the process of what you are doing that you attract all types of things. It doesn't matter where it's coming from, all types of resources, all types of, it doesn't matter. The point is, when you're not trying to control the outcome, you allow things to flow to you, right? Because you're not trying to control where it's coming from or where it's going or when or deadlines or any of these things. I believe, crazy enough, I wrote a book called the game series Beyond Survival. And one of the things that I was basically talking about how this 3D realm is a game and what makes it a game. One of the things that makes it a game is the fact that there are limited resources here, right? A part of games, if you've ever like played a game or whatever, is that everything is limited. Time is limited, opportunities are limited, resources are limited, everything is limited. And so is everything in this 3D realm. It's extremely limited. And I wrote about this more. I wrote about the rules of the game. I wrote about the subconscious being a womb and therefore a portal between realms if you know how to use it or utilize it. But regarding that, it was something that I said, was it time? Yes, right. So when you are focused on deadlines, right, and trying to control the outcome of a thing, I believe that this 3D realm, right, because we are extremely limited on time, time is unlimited, but this human vessel, meat suit, is on a limited time, right? And so time appears to be limited because we're not here long. This 3D realm wants people to obsess over deadlines and outcomes. And I believe 9 to 5s kind of train you in doing that. And so I think to myself, I need to exit out of this. I don't know what that is. I think to myself, like, because the 3D realm emphasizes time constraints and outcomes, right? And so you go from being immersed in the process, right? One of the things about being immersed in the process of anything is that you're constantly creating, right? You're not even aware of how much energetic output you're expending. You're just in the process and creating, right? It's a beautiful thing. This 3D realm, heavy capitalistic society, America, whatever, this specific country, its focus on deadlines and outcomes and performative productivity, it almost, I believe its intention is to limit your energy, or if anything, it is to funnel your energy towards their purpose, right? Or their outcome, right? When you are working for these companies, there's nothing wrong with that, but it is better if you are to do that to extract skills from it so that you may use it for your own purpose. But if I tell you that you have a limited time, right, to get something done, what I do is I inspire anxiety. And if I give you limited resources on top of that, then you're panicking, right? And so now you're in a state of spiraling. And so this was something that I noticed in terms of how to keep people at the bottom, right? Thank you, Veronica, for these gifts. Thank you. But this was something that I noticed in terms of how to keep people at the bottom, right? You keep resources limited, and you limit time, right? Or you present time in a way where it is limited, right? And so what I do is I keep you in a state of not only survival mode, but desperation, right? And what I have done successfully is I have distracted you from what is already in you, right? If you've ever been on Elle's Live, I believe she has said, like, the witty inventions are already inside of you. The subconscious, right, which is a womb within it of itself, reflective of the algorithm of the universe, right? Your subconscious, which holds patterns, beliefs, everything that your conscious mind is not fully recording or doesn't remember, it gets stored in the subconscious, right? And so there are things, there are skills, there are patterns, there are things in that conscious beneath the conscious, right, which is the subconscious underneath, right? There are things in there that you can extract and actually use. I mean, if my subconscious is a womb, and so it holds and nurtures everything that my conscious mind may have not caught, right? And therefore it multiplies and expands these things. And not only that, but whatever I do, right, whatever decision that I make whatever I execute, right, is usually, because the subconscious controls 95% of what you do, it is a reflection of the pattern that is already in there. And so what you end up doing is creating a world or reality, right, that is reflective of the pattern that is already in the subconscious mind. But something that I found it so genius is that if your subconscious is holding and housing everything, right, that has ever happened to you, right? It's not only your body that's keeping score, it's your subconscious that's keeping score too. In a way, if this subconscious is omnipresent, which means it does not sleep and it's always awake, right? If I can distract you and focus your attention on what do you call it? If I can focus your attention on time, limited time, and outcomes, right? So performative productivity, trying to, get you to focus on this outcome, then I can distract you from using what's already in your subconscious to create, right? And so what you end up doing is you end up constantly pulling from what is outside of you, because I have successfully distracted you from what is already in you, right? And so you're not creating from what's already in you, the gifts that are already within you, right? The knowledge that you already know, that's probably stored in the subconscious, but you're not thinking, right, about these things because you're constantly being hit with new things, especially if you're on social media all the time. You're constantly being hit with new kind of, not sensate, but, well, yeah, sensate and channels, portals, right, online. I am constantly keeping you from, I want to say I'm constantly keeping you from focusing inward, right? I'm keeping you from focusing on what is already within you, right? All that can actually help you create, and use those creations to, thank you, Veronica, super annoying. Let me just block this person. It's always losers coming in here. How do I, geez. I can also report, that also works. Let's see. We're gonna try that. Yeah, let's try that. Boop. Okay, cool. And then I'm kind of still getting good at these things. Oh, can I just, yeah, let's block. The viewer will not be able to watch any of, okay, cool, that's fine. Yep. My God, that was exhausting. How do you mark viewer? This is actually annoying. I may have to, oh, look at that. I think I got his ass out of here. So I think I'm gonna have to get a moderators. That's so annoying. I was like literally getting into it, but I think my point was, if I can distract you from you, then I can keep you at the bottom, right? I can keep you poor. I can keep you desperate. I can keep you in a state of scarcity, right? Because everything that is within you if I distract you from your creativity, right? which is your essence, then I can keep you at the bottom, right? I can keep you pulling from everything else but what is within you. And so that was something that I noticed about the 3D realm. And of course, I put that download in my book. I also noticed the 3 levels of consciousness. Getting kind of tired, but I'm going to try to explain this. The 3 levels of consciousness, that being the animal, the slave, and the architect. Oh, what's up, Sahana? Hey, girl. I think I've been here for, hey, thank you. But that was one of the things that I noticed was the 3 levels of consciousness, right? In the 3, thank you, Sahana, in the 3D realm, was the animal, which is at the very bottom, right? The slave, which is above that. And then above that is the architect. And the way in which I was able to kind of put this map together in my mind was that when you think about animals, right? Oh, thank you. I'm so glad. Honestly, if you are interested in the book that I wrote, I'm trying to, let me see if I can, I'm going to pin something in the comments. Yeah, it's this. Yeah, there we go. So that is my website. And on there, of course, if you scroll down, there's free content and there's paid. And below the paid, let me go to the, okay, great, thank you. Below the paid is my book, basically. And that's where I talk about the 3D realm, the 4D, but also the rules of the 3D realm, how to play without becoming consumed by it, traps, right, that are within the 3D realm as well. Those traps being, I want to say, beauty. When you are so consumed by beauty, right, some women will, when you cannot create, right, what you end up doing is you kind of end up delegating power to those who you believe are more powerful than you. And so because appearance holds so much weight, right, what you can end up doing is identifying with it rather than using it as a tool, right, something to leverage. And that's something that I've noticed about a lot of people, a lot of humans, is that we are, because we live in a material realm, right, the realm of material things, we can get consumed by our own vessel, right? I'm so glad. Thank you. I'm glad. But these are, one of the traps I talk about, many traps in there. But it's, basically a bunch of downloads that I put together in one book, and an entire map was kind of formed in my mind. And then thank you. And then I basically wrote the book. But honestly, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I should stay on here longer. It's like 7:59. I don't think I've ever done a live this long. I'm inspired by my own progress. I think I'm going to do this again tomorrow. And perhaps, honestly, I think I'll talk more about my book. I believe others would be... Oh, great. I'm glad. Definitely do. And yeah, definitely let me know what you think once you get the book. I love feedback. Oh, live will end. No, why is my live ending? We have detected an activity. Oh, I think it's because of likes. Hey, can you guys like it? Drag puzzle. What the? Oh my god. You guys like the live? Oh my gosh. It's going to end in 4 minutes. Oh, okay. Ew, thank God. Thank you. Okay, but anyways, before I go, let me know what you think of the book, because I love discussions about the book. I love talking to people about the book. People have already told me about the book. They've already given me reviews and have just been like, this is a gem and I can use it on my own personal journey whenever I'd like. And so I'm always super happy and inspired to, help people by way of sharing my downloads and sharing my insights. My gifts are not for me, right? They're for others. They're to help other people. So if anyone else is in here, that's my website. My book is right under free content. So let me know what you think. I'm super, super excited for you to not only get it, but for you to read it. Very excited. So, okay. I think it's 8:01. Oh my gosh, I've really been on here for some time now. I'm very proud of myself. All right. I think I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you, Veronica. All right. See you.